Hi, it's Raygar with Plan Scout. As we're starting off the new year, I wanted to highlight how to use SIPS actual value entry to help you prepare for your client reviews. This feature is available in SIPS Advanced, so if you don't have it, just go to planscout.com and you can upgrade to SIPS Advanced today or reach out to our team at support@planscout.com. With that, let's get started. First thing I want to point out, just looking at this sample plan that we're working with, is I've set the initial plan date back to 2023. I've used January 1st, and I would encourage you to use January 1st as the initial date for your starting plans. That makes the year-by-year view a little easier to comprehend, especially when you're doing things like taking Social Security or retiring. Now, I can tell just by looking at the SIPS plan that it's in its third year, not only because of those plan dates up there, but because SIPS will shade any years that have already elapsed as gray. And so I can tell that 2023 and 2024 have already elapsed, and we're in 2025. Keep in mind the values that you see in the SIPS plan are the values at the end of that year. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to update this value, which is currently forecasted in SIPS at 626,000, to be something a bit higher because we know the markets did quite well, a bit better than the 4% we had modeled for this account. And then we'll do the same thing for the tax-deferred IRA. So with that, before we just start updating this plan, what we like to do is we like to create scenarios so that we can toggle between these views. And so that when your client comes in, you can actually share with them the plan that you looked at in 2023 and then toggle to the 2025 one. Whether you do that live in the software or if you print a copy of the SIPS plan, the income plan out and do that with copies, that's totally up to you. But having the two scenarios is important. So for this plan, I clicked Edit. And I'm going to click Edit or Add Scenario. That'll take me to this Manage Scenario screen where I can take my original plan 2023, click down on the Replicate Current Scenario. I'm going to rename that as Client Review 2025. And I'm going to click Save. And that brings us back to the income planning screen. And you can see if I click the drop down now, we have our Client Review 2025 and our original plan. So we're going to make our updates in the Client Review 2025. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click Manage under my brokerage investments. We're going to update this 626,000 to something a bit higher because we think the market's probably performed a bit better than that, 4%. So to do that, when I click Manage, since I'm in SIPS Advanced, I have this button called View and Edit Actual Values. So I'm going to click on that button. That'll take me to a screen just about actual values. And then over here, I'm going to go to year 2, and I'm going to update this to 700,000. You could update it to whatever you want. 700,000 just seemed like a reasonable number considering how the markets perform. I'm going to hit Save, and that reloads back to the income plan screen. Now you can see already that the 700,000 shows up in the end of year 2, and you see that it's shaded in blue. That tells you that there's an actual value that's been entered for that year, and that SIPS is not doing its calculations for that year, and instead it's showing whatever you put in. What's nice about actual values is notice in 2025, it's picking up from the 700,000. It's not requiring you to go back and change the initial 500,000 or what we had in for 2023. It picks up from that point forward. You can also cherry pick which accounts to update. So maybe I have access to the brokerage investments, but I can't see the IRAs. And when I meet with a client, maybe we'll update the IRAs. But let's imagine that we are also going to update the IRA and update it from that 1.1 million at the end of 2024 to something a bit higher. So I'm going to go in there. Why don't we make this one 1.4 million? Hit Save. And that loads back on the income screen. And now we can see both of these values are updated. You can also see that SIPS Advanced is automatically updating the income taxes each year of the plan. So because this client now has 700,000 in their brokerage investments that we're liquidating first, you can see that in those years, their Social Security is actually not taxable. And so they have a lot of tax bracket capacity. Once their RMDs kick in, though, they're going to need to pay some taxes as they start withdrawing. However, since we did change with some of these values, a best practice is we probably should just look and make sure their RMDs are still in good shape. So let's hit the display options. I'm going to click View RMD Checks. And what do you know? It looks like we do need to update some RMDs. So just as a reference, if the RMDs show as red, that means that the RMD is not yet met for that year. If the RMD value is white, it means it's met perfectly. And if it's green, it means that it's been exceeded for that year. So looks like starting in year 16, we need to turn the RMDs on. So I'm just going to get back here into our manage for that account. I'm going to click back to the view and edit income screen. And then in year 16, I'm going to change that to be make up total owner RMDs, and I'm going to start it for the rest of the plan. So, validating that your RMDs are updated is a best practice that we'd always recommend, but you can see that does change the plan a little bit. However, for this client, they're still in a much better scenario here. So you can see they have almost $3 million now at the end of their plan horizon, which we just have set at 24 years, and they're paying $310,000 in taxes. Now, if we just toggle simply back to where were we 2 years ago, what do we think we're going to be? There's significant value that's been created. So they had less than $2 million. So, just based on the market, they have now $1 million more in value left at the end of their accounts. And look, they're also paying more in taxes. So before they were paying $289, now they're paying $310. And again, SIPS is automatically updating these income taxes to show you that. So it's a real time saver in SIPS Advanced. And then again, I can toggle between the client review and also the original plan. Now, you may not want to have this view up when your clients come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my display options. I've created some friendly groupings here. So I'm going to do a couple things. One, the client doesn't need to see that you've done your work with the RMDs. So I'm going to turn the RMDs off. But then I'm also going to go back to my display options and I'm going to click return with grouping. And that way we get these boxes up above the accounts and up above incomes or expenses if you had them. That just makes the plan a little easier to read. I hope that's helpful. If you don't have SIPS Advanced today, you can go to planscout.com to upgrade or just email us at support@planscout.com. And have a great day. I hope your client reviews go very well.